On this episode of Locked On Kraken, we have two new hosts. Shane Wright might get traded. Are the Kraken good? And we preview tonight's game against the Washington Capitals.
You are Locked On Kraken, your daily podcast on the Seattle Kraken, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Kraken, part of the #1 sports podcast network. We have two new hosts. I'm Zaiem, and you are?
Glenn Dreyfuss, unless I owe you money.
Unless he owes me money, which you do. We'll talk about that later. We are a couple of Seattle journalists. We are with Davy Jones Locker Room, which covers the Kraken on our written side of DavyJonesLockerRoom.com. And Glenn, why don't you give a little bit of your bio, your hockey bio, maybe personal bio, just so people know who we are.
Well, first the earth cooled, then the dinosaurs came. Then the TV and printed word were invented, and since then,
Wait, so you're going to go from the dinosaurs, and then you're going to gloss over the asteroid that altered the fate of humanity. Okay, all right, we're bearing the lead. Please continue.
Yeah, because otherwise, what would we have evolved from? Since then, I've done one-on-one interviews with astronaut Chris Hadfield, who's commanded the International Space Station, Attorney General Janet Reno, Starbucks Chairman Howard Schultz, TV star Jason Priestley, and in sports, Hank Aaron, Pete Rose, Spencer Haywood. And on my Hockey Time Machine podcast, first and third Wednesdays on YouTube, more Hall of Famers than you can shake a curved blade at. And I wrote a book, The Legends of Landover, about the expansion capitals of the 1970s. As a member of the Professional Hockey Writers Association, I've also written for the Fischler Report, the Hockey News, and the Society of International Research, International Hockey Research. I've been covering the Kraken since the first training camp and from Davy Jones Locker Room. And most important of all, I know Zaiem personally.
You do. That's the biggest name drop in all of them. I'm Zaiem. I have been covering the Kraken since really year two. I bought Davy Jones Locker Room from SB Nation a couple years ago when SB Nation said, hey, we don't want to do hockey sites anymore, and put all my time and effort into building the site and making it into something real. I did radio work for the Colorado Avalanche around the turn of the century in the late 1900s. And then moved to Seattle, where I was not working in hockey in any way, but did become a professional sports bettor and then a professional poker player. And I'm also a data analyst. And so there's going to be a little bit of maybe a little bit more analytical content here on the show. I'm also a member of the Pro Hockey Writers Association, and I am the Seattle co-chair of the Pro Hockey Writers Association chapter alongside Seattle Times' Tim Booth. And we're both credential reporters, both longtime Seattle residents. We're boots on the ground people. We're at the Kraken games. We have, we're in the press conferences. We're in the locker rooms. We're around the team every day. And so this is a way to bring a couple of different voices, a couple of new voices, and a little bit closer to the team with this show going forward.
That's our show. We're out of time. Thanks for watching.
All right. So someone that people might care more about than even us is Shane Wright. Shane Wright, the 4th overall pick, when it was really kind of expected to be the 1st overall pick. Yeah, this is him giving Montreal the stare down, allegedly, for not taking him 1st overall. Or it's just a photo where he was just looking intense. It's hard to know. But we are now getting rumors that Shane Wright might be on the trade block. This originally started with David Pagnotta, and then Darren Dreger and Elliot Friedman also came in later and confirmed that there have been discussions it's not clear who initiated these discussions, and it's not clear to me if that matters. If he's on the block, he's on the block. But so my question to you, Glenn, is first of all, do you think this smoke is real?
Where there's smoke, there's Shane Wright, isn't there? That the expression? Well,
That is the exact expression.
okay. Clear the decks because I'm coming in hot.
Okay.
Trade Shane Wright? Are you insane? He just turned 22. He's only been able to legally buy beer for 12 months. What he needs is stability, not another change of scenery. May I remind the court, he lost a year of playing in junior to COVID. He got traded in junior, was called upon to captain Team Canada at the World Juniors, joined the AHL Coachella Valley Firebirds in the playoffs. 2 different years, had an 8-game apprenticeship in Seattle 2 consecutive years. He's played for 3 different Kraken coaches his first NHL seasons. In his first full NHL campaign, by the way, he scored 19 goals, not too shabby. Now he's asked to adapt to Lane Lambert's defense first system. No wonder his numbers are down. A lot of the Kraken's numbers are down. His usage has yo-yoed. In a recent game against Pittsburgh, he saw less than 10 minutes of ice time. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I implore you, write off the car, not the kid. And whatever you do, don't write off Shane Wright.
So here's my counterpoint to this, is that Shane Wright might be in the incorrect place at the inappropriate time. I've been workshopping that for weeks now. I agree with everything you said, except for the part that maybe trading him is crazy. And here's why. Is Shane Wright ever going to get the opportunity that puts him in a position where he can thrive? Because the depth chart, you got Matty Beniers at center, and then you have Chandler Stevenson, who will become, I'm sure, a recurring character on this podcast, because every day I have Chandler Stevenson opinions, and every day. Chandler Stevenson is on a 7-year deal at $6.25 million. He has got 6 years left on that deal, 5 after this season. So he's not going anywhere. Matty Beniers is established as the young center that's going to be the 1 seed for the future. So now you're looking at third line time for Shane Wright. And this talks to the ice time issue. I don't know what it is that he has done or said to all 3 coaches that he can't get on the ice. It made some sense on their hacksaw because they were like trying to go for a playoff position, in the year 2. But last year under Coach Bylsma, they were out of the playoffs, and Shane Wright still couldn't get any ice time. He was supposed to be, he was coached by Bylsma and Coachella Valley, and this is a perfect fit. And then he got the Kraken, Bylsma as coach, and then he couldn't get on the ice. I don't understand it. His attitude seems great. His teammates really seem to like him. His effort, he's not dogging it. It's a mystery to me, but for whatever reason, I think this is just not the best place for him right now.
Here's another thing about trading Shane Wright. If the Kraken haven't been happy with his development, then why would you expect any other team to trade a boatload of assets for him? The last thing this team needs is another 30-something or a player with a bloated contract another team wants to get rid of just because he creates the illusion of immediate help. Let me lay some Latin on you, Zaiem. You've heard of caveat emptor, buyer beware. Well, for the Kraken, caveat then detour, seller beware.
I think the idea would be that he would be part of a larger trade package. So, him and a first and maybe some other players to go and get a Robert Thomas or a Jordan Kyrou or Jason Robertson, that kind of thing. So I think Shane Wright as a 1-for-1 or trying to get some overpriced soon to be free agent or something at the trade deadline doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. But I think he's part of like a bigger picture if he would be traded. But who cares what we have to say? Let's hear what Shane has to say about getting traded.
I mean, I don't really care too much about that. It's, no offense to you guys, reporters at the end of the day, can't really trust too much what they say. And at the end of the day, it's just rumors. I'm not too worried about that. I'm focused on the team here and winning hockey games. That's all I care about.
I believe him. Seems genuine. I think all he cares about is winning hockey games. I've never picked up a whiff of a bad attitude or any unhappiness about anything. He seems so positive and just the exact kind of person that you would want in your locker room. So in that sense, maybe trading him is crazy. But Shane Wright is just part of the bigger picture. Coming up after the break, are the Kraken good or are they not? This episode is brought to you by Gametime. There's nothing like being near the ice during hockey season. Going to games at Climate Pledge Arena is truly amazing. You get the speed of the game, the hits, the atmosphere, the sound, the music, the whole, just being in the building is such an incredibly different experience than watching it on TV. And the only thing that used to get in the way was getting tickets, so long queues, endless screens, and prices changing at checkout. That's why the Gametime app gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the hack for unlocking amazing NHL tickets and experiences in just a few taps. I used the Gametime app to buy some NBA tickets when I was in Denver, and I was really surprised how fast it was to find great seats. It was a really great experience, and you can visit the Kraken, watch them at Climate Pledge. Just take the guesswork out of buying NHL tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Thank you for making Locked On Kraken your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. And if you haven't already, please go check out our new Everydayer Club. It gives you access to an ad-free audio feed for the Locked On Kraken, wherever you get your podcasts. It also gets you to a members-only Discord server, which includes a group chat for just listeners of the show. So please go to lockedonpodcast.com/everydayer, the URL at the bottom of the screen for more. And if you join that Discord server, you can talk about things like, are the Kraken good? Glenn, the Kraken have been on a roller coaster this season. They started out, they had a stretch where they won 1 out of only 11 games with only 2 overtime losses. Then they went 8-0-1. And I'm like, oh man, it's back. The Kraken are back. They figured it out. And now they've gone 3-6-1 in their last 10, including a game that left Coach Lane Lambert, in his quotes, dumbfounded. And you cannot make logic out of a illogical situation. Just like, that's how he phrased it.
That's what the coach said.
That is what he said. So what is this team right now, Glenn?
They are Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and they're Dr. Jekyll when they follow the formula, which is play cautious, defense first, wait for your chances, take advantage of your chances. Any deviation, and you become Mr. Hyde, and the roller coaster is going down to the basement. But let's focus on the positive, which is the push to the playoffs. I think there have been 3 main things to really like about the Kraken this year. One is Captain Jordan Eberle with 18 goals. The second thing is the fourth line, which has provided a jolt of energy every night. Ben Myers before he got hurt, Ryan Winterton, and Jacob Melanson, who's been a wrecking ball, just set a new Kraken team record with 10 hits against Anaheim, and he followed that up with 7 hits Sunday in the win over New Jersey. And I'll let you comment on that or whatever you want to, and then I want to come back and discuss the third thing.
So I think that the fourth line has been really key, and they're getting a lot of depth scoring from the fourth line, which I think is both a good thing and a bad thing. It is really nice to get that kind of scoring, and it's making a difference in these low-scoring hockey games. You know, in a Lane Lambert team, 1 goal means more than it would on maybe the Colorado Avalanche. But it doesn't seem sustainable. We don't usually see fourth lines create goal scoring output like that, because then they're not the fourth line. So if you take it back and you say, okay, is this really the Draisaitl McDavid line? And we just don't know it. Well, probably not. So the other thing is like, okay, well, is this going to continue, or is this just kind of a hot streak that the energy and the defense and the forechecking, all of that does seem sustainable, but the scoring output, which has been a major difference in the games that they've been winning, seems like maybe they're not able to go to that well quite as much. And perhaps that is contributing to why they are not winning as much.
Speaking of things, Zaiem, that didn't seem sustainable, but have been, the most surprising of all the Kraken positives to me has been the renaissance of goalie Philip Grubauer. The virtual consensus this past summer, remember, was that Grubauer wouldn't even be on the roster, that he'd be bought out in the final 2 years of his $36 million contract. Well, thank goodness he wasn't, even though they did bring in Matt Murray to provide competition. Yeah, and why not? 4 straight Grubauer seasons with a save percentage south of 900. So go figure, this season, Gruby is top 10 in the league in both save percentage and goals against average. He's playing with a confidence we haven't seen here in Seattle outside of the 2023 playoffs, and the coaching staff has regained confidence in him, rewarding him with more starts, something that I asked him about.
Philip, like all goalies, you have said you play better when you're able to play more. Mm-hmm. So how has the increase in playing time improved your game?
I mean, you just answered your question yourself. No, it just helps, like, getting into situation and getting into like a rhythm, kind of like a playoff rhythm, right? Like that's the schedule right now, game day off, right? So it helps getting out there and getting the rest in between and just seeing the situation. I think that's what I was missing last year. You sit around for 3 or 4 weeks and then you come in on a back-to-back. It's really tough. It felt like you're coming out of summer break every time you touch the ice, right? Your timing is off, and I think that's huge for us, like to play every time your timing, gapping up on shots and reading off your guys.
You gave a better answer than me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Glenn, you're always charming the coaches and the players.
Well, how about Grubauer? He and Decord, who, by the way, both have been excellent teammates. And Decord was even asked, how do you feel about Grubauer playing more games? He's like, great. I'm ready whenever I get called on, but Gruby's playing great for us.
Yeah, and the thing that Grubauer said about needing to or getting into a rhythm and how it helps him is something that he even said last year. So for our viewers, last season I did do some Locked On Kraken episodes with Erica once a week, and on one of the episodes we discussed this exact thing where Grubauer had said that he had been struggling because he can't get into a rhythm and he's not getting those consistent starts, and it's hard for a goalie to do that. And he was sent down to Coachella Valley for a bit, and it gave him a little bit of rhythm, and he was able to get some time and see shots. So it makes sense, everything that we know about Philip Grubauer, that it does. He needs to get into a rhythm, needs to get into a flow, and it has been just absolutely outstanding to see him play the way that he has, and he's so beloved by the Kraken fans. The Grooves at Climate Pledge Arena have been so loud this year. Everyone loves him, and it's just such a great feel-good story. And it also feels good because they're winning, and winning feels great.
You can see the confidence he's playing with. He's out on top of the crease. He's not deep in his net. He had a penalty shot he had to stop. He even came out and made a poke check. I mean, he is playing like he expects to make the save. Right now, he's making saves he's not supposed to make, and that hasn't been true in past seasons. So if the Kraken are going to make the playoffs, he's going to be a big reason why.
That is a really great point about him being more aggressive, because when he first joined the Kraken, those first couple years, he was playing too passively, and you could see it, especially when Joey Daccord became the established starter. And you could see the difference in aggressiveness and the way that Joey was challenging shooters and Philip Grubauer wasn't. And I think you noticed it late last year or mid last year. I noticed it, that Philip Grubauer had changed his play style a little bit, and he was being more aggressive, and he was challenging shooters. And this year, if you could find a game from 21 and then watch a game today, he looks different. He's stylistically different, and he's better. He's playing much better. But it's more than just, he's in a better mental spot. He's seeing things. He is doing different things on the ice that have really benefited him. And I think probably Joey Daccord is an influence there.
And as you point out, Grubauer has been such a great ambassador for the Kraken. He's easy to root for. And at age 34, I guess you can teach an old goalie new tricks.
Well, Philip Grubauer will maybe face his former team, the team that he won the Stanley Cup with in the Washington Capitals, who the Kraken are playing tonight, and we'll preview coming up next. This episode is brought to you by Quo. New year, new systems. This is the time when a lot of us look at the messier parts of how we run our business and think there's got to be a better way. And there is. Streamlining your communications is one of the quickest upgrades that you can make, and that's why today's episode is brought to you by Quo, spelled Quo, the smarter way to run your business communications. Because when your team is reachable, organized, and communicating in one place, you're not just working cleaner, you're creating more opportunities to connect with customers. I love how simple Quo seems to make everything. So your whole team can call and text from one shared business number, so nothing gets missed. Everyone sees the full conversational threads, which makes replies faster and more personal. And as no surprise, Quo is the #1 business phone system on G2, trusted by more than 90,000 businesses, from solo operators to growing teams. So make this year where no opportunity and no customer slips away. Try Quo for free. Plus, get 20% off your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/lockedonnhl. That's QUO.com/lockedonnhl. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. So the Kraken are playing the Capitals, who have had their own struggles recently.
Hey, by the way, Zaiem, can we get a Quo for NHL referees? I'd like to see them have no missed calls.
Well, if they go on to quo.com/lockedonnhl, they too can have no missed calls. So the Capitals are really struggling. They have not won back-to-back games since December 3rd. And one of the things that has really plagued them, their 5-on-5 play is good, but their power play and their penalty kill isn't. And so just when you're watching the Capitals, what are fans, what do they need to know about this team? And they're real up and downs, real roller coastery. The headliner is Alex Ovechkin, who, when we talk about the power play, Ovechkin spends a higher percentage of the time of his team's power play time than any player in the NHL. It is over 90% of the time that the Capitals are on the power play, Alex Ovechkin is on the ice. And that's his signature move. He's got that one-timer from the circle, and it's not really working this year. The Capitals power play really struggling. Penalty kill also struggling, and they're kind of in a weird spot right now. Again, they can't string back-to-back wins. They're not going to this time because they blew a late lead to Edmonton and then lost in overtime. So the vibes aren't great for last year's Jack Adam winners, Steve Carberry, and maybe winning Coach of the Year is a curse. But that's another topic for another day.
This is probably Alex Ovechkin's last visit to Climate Pledge Arena. His contract runs out at the end of the season, and there's widespread speculation, as Ovi has said, that he wants to finish his career back in Russia. So this may be the last time for fans at Climate Pledge Arena or watching on TV to see the Great Eight, the greatest goal scorer of all time. And that's reason enough to tune in or come out to the arena tonight. Now, he's the captain of the Capitals, and the other player who's likely to be the next captain of the Capitals, Tom Wilson, who you'll see on Team Canada at the Olympics. You mentioned wrecking balls. I mean, Tom Wilson is a wrecking ball, but also one who's become an elite scorer. He is the prototypical power forward, and probably on Lane Lambert's Stop This Guy chart, Tom Wilson is number one.
Tom Wilson reminds me of someone who, like old school hockey, who's just kind of a thug, who's just like, it didn't have a lot of skill and was just out there to skate and hit and fight. Except he's that guy who's also an elite player. Like the days of just having somebody who has no skill, but you roll him out there because to send a message or to intimidate people. You're Francois Leroux, Scott Parker, these are the old names. They're dinosaurs. They don't exist anymore. But now they're just insane, like crazy skilled players. The league has gotten so skilled, and when I think about how the NHL has gotten so skilled, Tom Wilson is honestly the first person I think of as like even the enforcers, even the fighters, even the guys who are going in there and stirring up all the stuff. Even those guys can score and play and skate.
And why is this important? Because all the games are important. There's almost no breathing room in the Western Conference in the battle for the 2 wild card slots. Right now, Utah holds down the first wild card, 58 points. There's actually a 3-way tie for the second wild card. San Jose, Los Angeles, and Seattle, all with 55 standings points. The Sharks squeeze in as of today because of the tiebreakers. The first tiebreaker is games remaining. That's the 4th row down. The Sharks and Kings have 32 left. The Kraken have 31, which eliminates them. So we go to the second tiebreaker, which is the team's number of wins in regulation, the second row. The Sharks have 15 regulation wins versus 13 for LA. So San Jose gets to sit in playoff position today in the wild card position. But note the Kraken have 17 regulation wins. So at the end of the season, when games remaining for everybody will be 0, regulation wins will become the first tiebreaker where Seattle has an edge. And the final column is also important, showing which teams have an easier or harder remaining schedule based on the winning percentage of their remaining opponents. And by this metric, the Kraken have a somewhat tougher road, the Sharks somewhat easier. But Zaiem, it's all just a snapshot. It could look a different way, maybe completely different a week from now. If you're scoreboard watching, the Predators are playing tonight, the Kings are playing tonight, the Mammoth are playing tonight, so are the Sharks. So it's okay to keep an eye on the scoreboard while you're watching Kraken Capitals.
And the Kraken right now, according to Money Puck, have about a 40% chance of making the playoffs. That goes up to 46.5% if they win tonight against the Capitals. So these games, they're high leverage. It's 5% each way. The last game against the Ducks I looked was a 15% swing in playoff probability. So every game really does matter. It's not just a coaching cliche. These teams or these games, the points, they're so critical. It's so tight. And if the Kraken do make the playoffs, it's probably only going to be by 1 or 2 points. And so if you drop a game against a bad Anaheim team that's injured in the middle of January, that can come and haunt you very plausibly in April.
So in the words of Pokemon, gotta win them all.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Kraken. Make sure you subscribe and follow the podcast so you get all the latest episodes. If you never miss an episode, the Everydayer Club is built for you. Get Locked On Kraken ad-free, plus members-only Discord access, and more. And for those of you on video, we send you to the first 24/7 National Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel. On audio, make sure this is your second listen on NHL Game Night on Locked On NHL. Tomorrow, we have a very special guest. I won't say who it is, but it's John Forsland. So I'm really, really excited. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.